How? Welcome, Matt. One whole year since, it's been more than a year actually since we first done this. You were the first How video, mate. I've just looked back at it then. Wow, brought back memories. First question, straight answer. Have you stayed clean between these two? Whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
You have.
Yep.
Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. Objective one.
Celebrated 7 years on December.
Yeah, that's boss. That is boss, mate. 7 years. That's amazing. Yeah, so it's a bit quiet, man. So I don't know what the recording's going to be like, but we'll crack on. We'll crack on. Excellent. So stay clean, mate. Well done. Buzzing. Can you give us a brief explanation of like your year? What's going on? Any major stuff?
Oh shit. It's been quite a big year really because I moved out of supported housing and got a council place and moved into that. So I've been living maybe a bit longer than a year, maybe here. So yeah, and I got a sort of job at the Mulberry Project in Blackpool, sort of move on support worker. So it's been quite a big year. I've had my son for in my life for probably just over a year now, so that's been lovely being with him. Yeah, so it's been a big year.
Excellent. Stay clean, mate. I'm going to keep saying that because that's amazing. So that leads me next on to my first question. How's your family, starting with your dad?
My dad's very poorly at the moment, but yeah, he's okay. My mum's fine. Yeah, she's doing all right.
So I just want to go on that point. So your dad's not too well. How's that affecting you and how's that affecting your recovery, mate? I know it's not all about you, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's taught me to apply my program even more. When my dad's poorly, I have to make it not all about me, really. And the whole amends process has been that, I've got a new experience with my relationship with my father now. And yeah, and I think, yeah, just that I've had to be more on the program, really.
Yeah, you might. Are you physically seeing him more? Is there any stuff you're doing like more or changed in
Have I
highlights of
been,
the condition?
have I been seeing my dad more, did you say?
Yeah,
Yes, I suppose, yeah. I suppose a little bit more than I would do normally, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It's my kind of like the page I'm on has come to terms with the loss of my dad. Yeah, and it still affects me to this day, mate. And again, I'm applying a program to it now, to finally go through the process of grief. So I do. It must be. I can only imagine how bad that is, mate. But yeah, well in for staying through it, staying the course. How's your mum? Because the scene on the last video, normally she actually still goes to meetings. Has that improved with your mum at all?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a bad Christmas really. They've lost our auntie and she lost her sister and her best friend over Christmas. So she's rocked her a little bit, but yeah, it's just nice to be there and for her and ask her if she's all right and think about her rather than in the when I was using or drinking. I wouldn't have given it a thought. I would have given it more like an opportunity to manipulate the situation, maybe whatever that would be, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've certainly done that. So again, that's kind of like so that's what I mean. So grief, because I remember on the last one you hadn't not that you hadn't experienced grief. There was no one close, but like kind of what comes up. What I struggle with is grief, be like wrapped in addiction, but grief and recovery is like I've got nothing to go off, by the way, but it's just like a stumbling block. And grief's a process. I don't know. I've done quite a bit of work, like thinking on reflection on me. But yeah, but it kind of be this year that's gone by. I've lost no one within me in the circle, no one that's like rocked my world. It's kind of previous grief where I've come to terms with it. But there's people all around me, like who've lost mothers. There's a person that we both know actually that I'll keep his name out of it. Is it's imminent. His dad's horrible to say. I've had like a courageous conversation with him today. It's like it's imminent, you know what I mean? But it's just like that's what I'd like your message to be like the grief process and recovery. You know what I mean? Like part of our video, I said you'd either, and it's kind of developed for me, is like you'd either die or you'd experience grief, and it's horrible to be so black and white, but that's actually the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one because I kind of know, without getting too morbid, I
Yeah,
know kind of,
it's the danger of that, isn't it?
I know it's coming. I know there's going to be, and there has been in recovery, there's been hard times where people have passed away. But do you know what? And it seems like recently there's been a lot of it. There's been a lot of people sharing in meetings, recovery meetings, about how they've lost someone in their life, fathers, mums, the other day, and they've shared about it. And the biggest thing that they've shared about is that they've got through it without even thinking about a drink or a drug. And they've got through it, not only got through it, but they're actually doing the opposite of what they used to do, i.e., they're thinking of other people more than they think themselves. And I won't say who it is, but there was this one guy who I think he's only got a year in at the moment, but I think it was about 2 months in or something like that, 3 months in, and his mum passed away. And he was at a meeting that night and he was sharing about it, and it just blew me away. Like this guy, like after he shared, I was like, in a weird way, I kind of knew that I'd be all right. Like when the day comes that my parents pass away, I deep down know that now. That I mean, you can never tell and stuff, but I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to be okay. I know it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to cry. I know I'm going to feel the pain, but hopefully my program will kick in and it will show me like where can I be of service, where can I be of help, where can I be supportive, um, and get honest about it. I know there's a safe space between me and the meetings and me and people in recovery that I can share with that kind of stuff. And I know the spirituality of the program will carry me through as well. I know it, I don't know because obviously I've never been through it like other people have, but I've got this kind of comfort now because I always used to be worried about it. Like, what am I going to do at the funeral? What am I haven't seen my brothers and sat down properly and talked with brothers and sisters for a long time. My dad got cancer a couple of years ago, and my mum told me, and my first insane thought was, what am I going to do at the funeral? Because I haven't spoke to my brothers for a long time. It's going to be really awkward and all this bullshit. And then the program kicked in, and like, that's not even here yet. And it kicked me into, my mum needs support here. How's my dad doing? And my dad I used to sit down with my dad and ask him how he was doing, and that's not, I mean, normally, all my life I've gone round to my parents and spoke about me and not even bothered asking how they are. So I don't know. You kind of learn from how I've learned to be a father. Like I've learned that from people in recovery in the rooms, but how they talk about. No, I learned from you when you was at Mulberry, and me and you was at Mulberry. You used to talk about, having your kids and how, all the sort of trials and tribulations that you went through with that filtered down to me, and probably vice versa a little bit as well. But that's how it works. We can't get to that place on our own. We can't get through most situations on our own, to be honest. But
100%.
yeah,
That projection to the funeral, which we all do, and like it's the antithesis of what we shouldn't do, isn't it? To just drop me into the present moment. So that was lovely for that message, inspirational. We have a present for the time remaining, and to support others is exactly the crux of this program for me. So yes, I hear you there. So I was going to ask about your brothers. That's kind of being explained there. But yeah, so how's it been for the year with your son? Have you made the memories that you were so hopefully going to make?
Yeah, we've had loads of really lovely times, from going sledging last winter to going down to Devon and having like a couple of weeks down there surfing and fishing and collecting crabs around the rock pools and stuff. So it's been really, I've had some really lovely moments and continue. We started playing Fortnite together online at the moment. So that's been fun. Uh, yeah, so been I was brushing up on my Fortnite just before we made this call. Actually, just played a couple of games to improve. So I'm not such a, so I can contribute a bit to when we do play together because we normally like play as a duo kind of thing. So it's quite fun. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I said I was going to do that at Christmas and I haven't. So I now, on the back of what you just said, I am because I'm moving on. I'm not about me this again. I see the last one was all about me, but I'm moving on Monday, and that's my phase one. Get a telly and an Xbox to do that. So thank you for that. Yeah, so we've covered that. Have you had any blind spots? Because imagine that you're 7 years in recovery, but blind spots must still exist. Have you had a blind spot pointed out? And it's by another person generally, isn't it? Or it's the light bulb moments if it's your own. But have you had any blind spots this last year you'd like to share with us that have been pointed out?
Had ups and downs and gotten into pain, self-inflicted pain, but that's always pushed me back. I've kind of drifted off, I suppose. Sometimes the worst thing about recovery is you get well because you kind of, think life is going really good and sort of, I tend to not practice stuff that got me well kind of thing when life is going really good. So, um, yeah, of course, I've had sort of moments where I've had to, it reminded that I'm still an addict, I'm still an alcoholic, and I still need to get to meetings and reach out and sponsor people and sort of kind of get in the middle of the boat, not drift off. When I drift off, I tend to get into loads of pain, but normally that kind of just pushes me back into recovery, really, most of the time. But yeah, I've had times where I've taken my foot off the gas and thought I was more cured than I was, kind of thing. Yeah.
So in light of that, what would you say has been your biggest challenge this year that you and they're obviously a lot tough ones you're in them. But like when you've got out the other side, you thought, wow, that was a big one.
Yeah, I think it's just relationship. Any kind of relationship really is difficult. I think, you know, I, try and run the show, try and manipulate it into what I want it to be. And so I think, yeah, that's been difficult, you know, sort of building up that relationship with my son. It's not been difficult, but it's sort of been challenging at the times. And yeah, it's difficult sort of co-parenting a child as well. Yeah, I mean, it's still my life is still. Excuse me, I swear. My life is still massively better than it was when before I got into recovery. Let's put it that way. It's a walk in the park compared to active addiction, but there is still bumps in the road. But being in recovery doesn't stop any of the bad stuff happening, does it? It just allows you to cope with it without picking up stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So what's it been like going back to work?
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been giving me sort of a structure, and I didn't really see it as, I don't know. I felt like it was a more of a volunteer spot rather than work. I don't know, but it was nice to. It was beautiful to work at a place that I'd been through myself. The actual rehab that I went through, supported housing that I went through. I was able to sort of give something back, and I would have done the same thing for nothing, kind of thing. That's how I felt about the place, the Mulberry Project. So it was a bit sort of poach
gamekeeper turned poacher or vice versa. You know, it was a bit like it was a bit weird because when I landed at that rehab, I kept on having to remind myself I do not work there. I am a resident there. Do you get what I mean? So when I actually got to work there, then I had to remind myself I'm not a resident anymore. I'm actually working. I have to be professional. So that was a bit of a weird one, but it's such a beautiful place to work for. It was so relaxed, and it didn't feel like work. It felt like family, and that sounds a bit cheesy, but it did feel like I was just going into some sort of family gathering really most of the time. It's a beautiful place to work for, if I'm honest.
Yeah, very insightful. That's lovely. That. And from my point of view, what was it like, and like how did it work? Putting your recovery first as you brought work into your life, which has got to be a priority. I understand, but what were any challenges there, and what was your routine, or how would you make sure you got your recovery?
I'd done sort of support work before, and I always got kind of swallowed up by it. And I see it happen a lot with people that get into recovery and they want to give something back and become a support worker for a rehab or, you know, a hostel or something like that. And in the past, what I've done is I thought, well, I'm working with people in addiction, you know, I'm in the middle of, you know, right on the front line of the trenches, you know, that's my recovery. And the meetings I drifted off from the meetings in the past. So when I got this job, I had to be really aware that, you know, my recovery I still have to put the same amount of effort, still have to go to the same amount of meetings, still have to, you know, sponsor the same amount of people, but I have to, you know, make sure my recovery, you know, is there too, and not compensate that, oh, I don't need to go to that meeting today because I've done a whole day's work, you know, working in that field of recovery. That's where I went wrong before. You know, I kind of thought, oh, I don't need to do any work on myself because I've been doing it all day with other people. So I had to make sure that was, you know, my recovery was my priority, not work first, then recovery kind of thing.
Yeah, because that is common. That's why I asked the question, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people justify that I've seen who work in them places and places like them. The recovery is connecting with addicts in a work capacity, but it's got to be that. That's also know from hearing experience.
Completely, in my opinion, because it's got to be completely separate. Completely separate.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you navigated that. So yeah, because I've got a couple of questions written here from the last interview. So, have any fears come up this year, which no doubt to have?
Oh yeah, loads. It's one of the biggest defects of character. I had a lot of health fear. I had started coughing up blood and to go to the hospital, and they found like a shadow on my lung, and then I had to have this sort of like procedure where they put a camera into my lung, and that filled me with so much fear, not the actual diagnosis or anything like that. I wasn't worried about that. I was just worried about this camera going into my lung kind of thing and the procedure. So I had to do that. Really crippled me up. I had to do loads of fear inventory around that, and I sought outside help with counselling around it, and someone gave me some really lovely books about, you know, medical fear, phobia sort of stuff. So I had to really put a load of work into it really, and yeah, lots of praying and meditating around it. But yeah, that was probably that was probably the biggest sort of fear I had last year, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's a big example. That's exactly what I was thinking. And so, what did coming up to the operation? Did you have an anaesthetic, and what was your thought process around that?
No, I had to be awake for it. So I think they gave me something to stop sort of like me from coughing. They gave me loads of this gel to numb my throat and a little bit of my lung. But apart from that, no, it wasn't put to sleep or anything. So it only took about 40 minutes. I was in there and out pretty quick.
Yeah,
it was just
So what was like, so was there any residue? Did it take a day or two? Did you have pain? Was it uncomfortable? Was it dry? Like, explain, how long was you back
Yeah,
to normal?
yeah, I was pretty much back to normal within half an hour, maybe. I had a bit of a sore throat. That was about it, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm just starting to feel inventory now, and oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I was just thinking about, because we haven't seen much of each other, have we? You know what I mean? We've had phoned a couple of times, but busy life comes, doesn't it? Like packing the stream. But yeah, we're actually sponsee brothers now.
So that again.
We're sponsee brothers, which we were last time we done the interview. We got like there's a trickle down. Yeah, so
Oh
basically,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I
yes,
get, yeah, I get it.
the fear inventory will be the same way as yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
yes, I've just yeah. So
I find that really.
we should be on the same page with that. I've just picked. I've not really done it yet. Yeah, I'm still. I say on step forward, and I know better. But yeah, no, so that was that question. So what? Have you had any regrets over the last year? That's something that come up when I look back.
Um, not many coming to mind, to be honest. No.
Yeah, good, because you said regrets, as we know, they're no good. Have you done any art or anything this year? I think I heard one thing about an exhibition or something.
Still doing my art, still painting and doing the odd exhibition here, there, and everywhere. There's a few galleries that are taking on my stuff down in the southwest, but not a lot. I've been doing I'll tell you what I've been doing. I've been doing like little short films around recovery. So I've been like interviewing people in recovery. So I've just learned how to edit on Final Cut Pro, and the Mulberry project got a load of filming equipment. So I did one with Cy a few months ago, then a guy called Jason, and then the last one I literally just edited, just finished the edit a couple of days ago. So I'm just about, it probably be uploaded in the next couple of days actually, and it's just about interviewing someone, following them around a little bit, and filming them and putting it into together. I think about 10 minutes sort of short film about this guy that used to, I think he did like 18 years in prison and then come out, went to Mulberry, and now he's living, and like he's going to college and he works in the dog kennels now, and he's doing really positive stuff. It's a really cool story that he told about, you know, the last couple of years of his sentence, getting into being a Samaritan, you know, supporting people, other people in the prison. And he told me about how volunteering at the kennels, the dog kennels, has really had an impact on his recovery. So that was nice. Yeah, that's been really interesting. I've got sort of a bit obsessed with filmmaking at the moment.
Well, that's lit me up, because I think I know the guy, but we won't mention names. But I think I know the guy. That's lit me up. That's the essence of what we're taught in recovery, isn't it? That's essentially like helping others,
Yeah.
exploring your creativity, and yeah, just generally helping others, mate, in a positive way to improve connection. Yeah, amazing. That's lit me up. That proper lit me up. So, what's the recovery scene like in Blackpool? I do miss it. You know, I'm still connected to a few, but yeah, I mean, my mind often wonders how's it going in your opinion?
I mean, I'm biased, but the Blackpool recovery scene is amazing. It's massive. Like it's a really good place to come and get clean, come and get sober kind of thing. There's loads and loads of different fellowships down here. There's loads of other alternative meetings like Smart, and there's loads of stuff happening. You know, there is lots and lots of different things that people are doing. There's always loads of meetings. There's new CA meetings that are starting up. DAA is doing well in Blackpool at the moment. It's just really healthy, I think. You know, really, really healthy. I went out last night for a gathering, and it was just beautiful. There was like 25 of us there, all in recovery, having some food. And that happens on a regular basis in Blackpool. Like, we go out for people's recovery birthdays and go for a meal out, and then we headed off to the meeting afterwards. So it's really nice. Yeah, it's big. I think it's really.
Sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, that's something that does. That did affect me in Blackpool. The like fellowship outside the meetings, because I struggle in that department. I'm better in close knit, and it still exists that today. I like close, little smaller numbers, but it is, and it's. I'm like trying to instill. I'm starting like going for a coffee in my hotel on the back of what Blackpool's got, and Liverpool's got it as well. Because it's like really important, that, isn't it? You know what I mean? The socialising. Because the other way, just going to meetings and doing the four suggested, my recovery was a bit two-dimensional. But that opens it up. That's a personal question I'd like to ask. How do you get? So obviously you prefer painting. How do you get like inspired? Like, do you set aside time, or do you do it as you feel inspired? Because that's something I need to develop. I love writing, but never really make time for it.
Yeah, I don't kind of beat myself up over it. Just sort of how the wind blows. Really, it's. I think I've got to scratch some sort of creative itch. I have to do it in some way, but like I will go through stages and hop around. Really, like some months I'll be really into my painting, and then I'll sort of drop that, and then maybe pick up the guitar and start playing that, and maybe drop that, or I'll do an odd play. Like, I really love acting and getting up on stage and doing bits and bobs there. Or like recently, the thing that's scratching that itch is me filming stuff and making little short films. So yeah, I need it. It's almost like the form of meditation, the creativity sort of side of it. Because when I'm doing it, I'm kind of like focused in on one thing only, and I don't really think about anything else apart from that thing I'm working on. So it's helpful, but it's not my recovery. But it's a thing I can do because I'm in recovery. But it has sort of meditative effects and values to it, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Something I've explored, and it was stumbled upon me when in the treatment centre. I was in we recover through art, sports, and fitness and things. So the art, like writing poetry specifically, it's helping me connect with itself, and delivered something like it. So it's got like aspects of a writer, and then that can test me. I like some stuff, and I'm pondering and then delivering it to whole new. It just makes me connect with itself, and you feel a sense of belonging when people are thanking you and stuff.
Do you perform your poetry and writing, or do you just literally just write it and that's kind of where it stays?
So like my poetry's kind of developed, like, so I send little lyrics by text. I kind of was doing that when I knew you, when I was living in Blackpool. That was just me personally. Now I've developed it a bit now. I do different types. Like I wrote a haiku today, just willy-nilly, like it come up on the WhatsApp group that we're on. And I've performed twice, but there's like a poetry circuit in Liverpool, different little factions, a bit like the recovery circle, but it's such a nice night going out. I have a little routine. That's one thing I'd like to say. I go out for a drink. I have a coffee, because I don't really drink coffee late because it causes me not to sleep. But when I go into a place, I get a coffee, get relaxed, have a glass of Coke as like a treat, and then I drink water. Then so I've got that routine. But being in a poetry circle where people are getting up performing, there's always room to get up and perform. Although I didn't perform straight away, I'm kind of this coming year there will be a few, and I'm not. I understand like the ego side. I don't fully get ego, but like that getting wrapped up in self to perform. But I performed twice. I really loved it, and it was kind of like a gentle introduction. It was as controlled as can be, and that's part of my problem: control, not letting go. But yeah, but there was a small audience in a nice venue. I spoke two pieces in both events, and specifically. What was nice was I done a poem for my brother. That was really. It wasn't so much. It's kind of like where I'm at. I didn't personally reflect. Oh, I love that. It was more. It felt good. I learned so much. I learned what stage fright was. Like that sober stage fright. Yeah, it was. I got up and I was going to do this and going to do that. I just went up and like locked up the head and then just had to read, and yeah. So like developing as performing is I'm looking forward to that as boss. But then poetry circles in Liverpool, I'd love to come to Blackpool and explore that because I know it must exist. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was really
There's
good. Really good. So, have you done anything new this year? Maybe in the past time, and have you talked about it that you previously didn't do?
Have I tried anything new? Say that again. Sorry, I didn't quite hear.
Yeah, sorry, I know. Yeah, the sound's not great. I'm the same. So, have you started anything new? Have you tried something new? Because that's really important for me to push the boundaries of getting more varied, I suppose.
I mean, I think. I mean, the thing I can think of is
just what you're recording it, won't it?
yeah. I think that the thing I've put me down myself. I realise I've been a bit selfish in the past, a bit of an understatement. But like regarding meetings, I've not really put myself forward for much service. So I've just done a year of chairing a meeting, a DAA meeting, and that was really that was something different I've never done before. I've never stuck to a meeting that kind of religiously for a year before, like, and had service there. Like, I've gone to meetings where like I'm pretty much a regular there, and I've been a group member, but I've not really had much service, to be honest. So that's something new, and that's something that really sort of brought something different into my recovery. That whole thing about having a duty and a duty of sort of not care, but a duty of service, I suppose, and that's got me. And I've met a whole new different group of recovery people in that fellowship. So that was nice. That was something different.
That's really good. That's exactly what I was on about. Actually, something new like that you've added to you there, because I know you've got quite a varied bow anyway. But yeah, that's exactly what I meant. And so, what was the question there? It kind of left me now. So that commitment to something new, and so like, what shocked me about what I'm just thinking now on my feet, what come up for me then was I remember you were booked in to do a main share because you speak so well in meetings, but like you have preempted nerves and stuff. I remember one time that I was really shocked. You did come up and do the share, mate, so you did honour your service, but like to see how it affected you. And has that improved at all? So obviously that service, I'm presuming, that commitment that I'm going and it's happening must have helped you in that department.
That was exactly why I made that decision to take that service, because it was at that meeting or that fellowship where someone asked me to share, and my head got the better of me, my nerves got the better of me, and I just had to phone in saying, "Look, I'm really sorry, but I can't do it tonight." And I had to really look at it and do some work around it. Why am I getting so nervous? Why is the nerves taking over? And I'm like, I'm a trained actor, so I'm quite happy of going on stage with thousands of people in the audience, but I'm not myself when I'm on stage. Like I'm a character. I've got makeup on. I've got normally a costume on, but in the recovery meetings, you can't really hide behind a mask. You have to be yourself. And what it come down to was that I was going to these meetings, and I was asked to do a main share, and I basically wanted everyone to like me. Like, I wanted to make everyone laugh. I wanted to say something really like have a depth and weight to what I was saying to affect people, because all the time that I've been going to meetings, there have been people out there that have said the right things at the right time for me, and they've been really sort of powerful shares. So I felt all this kind of pressure of that. But the main reason was that, I wanted everyone to perceive me a certain way. And I found out that I was judging people. So when I was going to meetings, I was looking at the sharer. When they were sharing, I was thinking, well, this is a load of rubbish, because he's not talking about the program. He's not talking about steps, and he's not said this. He's not said that. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And I realized that was messing me up when I went to share, because I was riddled with everyone else doing the same with me. So I had to do some work around that, and I realized that I've got to stop judging people. I've got to stop judging people that meeting up, the people that are speaking at the top of the table. You know, once I did that, and I thought, well, how am I going to integrate and sort of stop this from happening? That's right. Well, I've got to get to know people, and people have got to get to know me, because I was just literally rocking up at meetings, not saying much, and then going. So having that service at the meeting where you have to be there every week, and you kind of running the logistics of the meeting, i.e., you know, helping with getting the tables out, talking to the, you know, introducing the meeting and all that kind of stuff. I integrated into that meeting like I've never really integrated into a fellowship before. So it taught me so much. And I mean, I'm not perfect, of course. Everyone has got a judgment, but it really, since I've stopped judging people at meetings, my nerves have been, and realized that actually this isn't about me. This is about carrying a message to the newcomer. It's not about my popularity or how I come across so much. It's about, am I getting the facts out there? Am I giving them my experience of my journey? So it was a really good sort of, I mean, I still get nervous for sharing, but now it's kind of like and also I was sharing with my self-will, like I'm going to say this, they're going to laugh, I'm going to say this bit because it's quite funny, and realizing that, you know, the spirituality, I've got to sort of hand this over and allow whatever channel that I'm meant to be in, and let sort of my higher power talk through me, really, and set aside everything. Learning the set aside prayer and saying that before I go on or go to a meeting was really helpful. And I use it now when I meet up as a sponsee, or, you know, like I come on to this. Because when you asked me, oh, do you fancy talking? I was like, yeah, like ego straight away. It's like, it's taking you this long to get me back. Do you know what I mean? It's stupid, you know. And it's all this fantasy world, like, oh, this is going to be the moment where, you know, someone's going to see it and I'm going to get picked up and going to become this mad circuit speaker. But really, like, my head will take me away. It really will. And being an actor before, it's all really blurred a little bit. You know, the whole performance thing, and you know, it's complicated. But I feel like I've wiggled through that kind of period of time where it was a bit difficult, and I had to, like, I was having panic attacks over it, like, really badly, and that sort of calmed down now. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. And I'll answer that question. I will answer that question. So it's been a while. I had to park it. I had to park the channel. I've done a lot of internal work. Obviously, there's a lot of mental health early door on the channel. Yeah, it's evolved. So, like, I always knew, I was always dedicated to it, because it was born out of, like, morbid insanity. You know what I mean? And so, like, I had to park it. I loved to interview. I was always going to do a season 2, season 3, season 4. That was always on. But the reason, yeah, and if we just talked a bit more, which I wish I did. I did ring a couple of times, and then like, I was in treatment, you know, just go, I know you had stuff going on, but yeah, so it didn't. I had to park it, is the true answer. And yeah, and I needed some reflection time on what I wanted. Yeah, so I wasn't a million miles away, but I want to try and lift the morbidness, because things are different now. I mean, my recovery is a bit more 3D. So that's what I'd like. That's what I want. I want to be interviewed one every week on a Sunday or Sunday, or some kind of structure, by, like, preferably a person that's come that I've interviewed, but a different one each week. Yeah, so that was my original reason for ringing you. So obviously we'd misinterpreted. So I'd love to invite you to that, by the way, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, so it got parked for a long time. And then there's been issues around social media, podcasts within the institution that I'm in. So yeah, so I've done a lot of personal reflection on it. I have been doing podcasts in a different like genre, helping a friend, but yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird time for me. Like, been a really fruitful, enjoyable time, but parking up for something that I believe in so much has been mad. Yeah. So apologies for that. I didn't mean to put you in feelings, but yeah, it was a little weird.
You don't fucking wanting all of that stuff. It was definitely my ego wanting all that.
Yeah, I'm with you, because it does come, doesn't it? I still struggle with ego. That's like, if you could describe, because there's a few questions like that. If you could just discover that, if you could explain ego to a newcomer who's like me, I'm a few years in now, not clear, a few years in, like the circles, like explain ego, try and explain, help me.
Well, I think it's sort of the opposite. The opposite of ego is thinking of others, isn't it? And I think ego is, very selfish, and it's what I want and how I. Ego's like what I want you to think of me. Like my ego wants you to think of me as something that I'm probably not. That's what I'm trying. My ego wants to manipulate you to think that I'm something. I'm further down the line than I am, kind of thing.
Yeah, I hear you there. That told me that, because there was a lot of ego in this channel at times, when obviously I was fluctuation in level of recovery and quality of recovery. But yeah, because like I was kind of thinking, like, if I buy into it, it's like it's carrying a message beyond the grave. I can get like, so although I don't think like my ego's like showing off, I thought it's kind of getting wrapped up in self and blowing things out of proportion and going with it. So it comes out in different ways, doesn't it? But yeah, there was narcissism in me. I think it might be in a narcissist here, and I'm still unclear on that one as well. But ego and narcissism were coming up for me, thinking, wow, a few people have
Well,
mentioned it, we watched it, yeah.
I think it's like an unwarranted elevation of self, isn't it? It's like
Yeah, I like that.
what I'm projecting isn't the same as what actually my inward reality is. How I'm feeling and thinking inside is not at the same level as what I'm projecting out there to you lot.
Yeah. So that's brilliant. Yeah, kind of really done. I want to come on to the end. I want to leave 5 minutes at the end to talk about your social media. Have a few plugs. So just another couple of questions. So are you still connected to the old electric? I often think of that building. What an amazing place.
I was thinking about that when you said, "Oh, I'm not very social and stuff." But my perception of you when you was in Blackpool, that you was doing stuff that I was like, "Oh no, I can't do that. It's too much." But you would get yourself out there and do like the clubber-sized dance stuff, and I'm like, man, that's really sort of just doing it. Do you know what I mean? And not giving a f. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah, I'll explain that a little bit. That was born similar to the channel. That was done because I'd done a video when I danced. So I sent it to my daughter with a kiss on. So like when the initial one, the first time I went, my motives were impure. It was to see if there was females. I went with a friend. Well, what really stuck, there's a poignant moment. So we were in the old electric, and it was perfect. It was the lighting wasn't bring. We were doing some mad, I don't know if it was African dancing or something mad, but I felt really uncomfortable. No, it's like, what you get in recovery, sometimes it can be a meeting, some feel really uncomfortable, and it's that. But like, I was dancing rigid, and I looked over at a friend that we both know that was in the Mulberry, and he looked how I felt. Yeah, so it's just like, got him now. As I was moving, he was doing the same, and just that was a moment. And then from that, the videos kept me going. It was uncomfortable, it was social, but sometimes it lit me up. Like there was times that like I kind of just got in the rhythm. And I think that's when I let go. But that video, I went religiously because the people were great. It was a great way to chill out, and that video to my daughter. I love sending it across to her, and I knew she was laughing and that. Yeah, so a bit like my channel was born on sort of similar ilk. Yeah, so go on. I'm great with that. So there's not more anything you'd like to say before we move on to like you can plug your social media and what that means to your recovery. Somebody.
I can't think of anything.
Sounds will go on, plug away, recovery road, etc.
Yeah, I don't care if anyone. I don't know. Yeah, well, I've got the YouTube channel, and I've got. I'm trying to go down the kind of short documentary road of interviewing people in recovery to give others a bit of hope. So yeah, people can check that out. It's Recovery Road, or just type in Mulberry Project, and it'll come up with all the Mulberry Project videos as well. So people can check that out. That's it.
Yeah, but it was more a bit more like, so what does so, because obviously some, how can I word this now? Some long timers or some people who work the program like religiously and with a tooth comb would frown upon social media recovery. But for me, I'm totally the opposite. I think it's the future. I embrace it. So yeah, so just talk us through what your stance is on what I've just said, basically.
Yeah, I think it's a good tool to connect people. I think Zoom's a really good thing that's helped us out a lot. I think my recovery has definitely opened up, and I know lots of people from all the way around the world in recovery, and I wouldn't have that if it wasn't for technology. But I'm a realist as well. You know, I know that, you know, kind of like slogan Facebook posts recovery is not going to keep me long term clean and happy. You know, I think the nuts and bolts of, you know, meetings and the steps and applying the steps in my life is the thing that's going to, and taking other people through their work is the ultimate thing that's going to keep me long term happy and sober and clean. But you know, I'm a sucker for it sometimes. You know, having some sort of motivational. You know, I'll see something online that is a quote or something like that that's amazing that I can apply, that I'll carry with me in my recovery. But I think it's like anything else. It can be addictive, and it can sidetrack you from the real message that's out there for recovery. You know, but each their own. Like that works for some people. I dip in and out of it. I understand its value regarding promotional stuff, but I think my recovery is more in face-to-face meetings and, you know, having one-to-ones with people around coffee tables, I think. But I met a guy at the dinner last night, and I was in treatment with him, and the first couple of years of his recovery was on Zoom. You know, he was a COVID baby boomer recovery guy. You know, he was brought up in he absolutely owes his life to online recovery. Do you know what I mean? You know, so I think it's powerful, and it's like anything, you can abuse it and it can sidetrack you. It could drift you away from what's really going on, you know. But I don't know. I should have answered I have no opinion on outside issues, but I did the long version.
Sound brilliant, Matt, but I'm happy with that, mate. So let's both make it balance to stay in touch, mate. It's great to catch up. So
yeah, you too, mate.
That, I will foul for now. See you later, mate.
See you later. Take it easy.
Bye, mate.
Bye.